Hello, this is Cannabis Clip Notes with Mary Ann Kursagee, and I am Addison Morris with the Women's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. As a cancer survivor, her experience with medical cannabis did more than inspire activism. It motivated her to start a cannabis farm, develop a craft cannabis company, and develop an iconic Oregon brand. Marianne and her team have decades of passion, experience, and attention to detail, which produces unique strains that are slow cured for a consistent high. Marianne's expertise includes starting businesses from the ground up, establishing effective operations, scaling, and leading a business through a successful exit. Now, sustainability in the cannabis industry is a subject not often addressed. Marianne, what do cannabis businesses need to know about sustainability in the cannabis industry?
Hi, Addison. Thanks so much for having me on. Um, it's really interesting. When we first started the business in 2017, I had no idea how challenging the cannabis industry was going to be. And I think it's one of these things that the less you know, the better, because we might have been too afraid to start. But fortunately, we just started with a hope and a dream and wanting to make things better for people. Like you said, I started as a medical patient and wanted to be able to share the healing magic of the plant with other people, and that's what we started the farm with. So you've probably seen the news that about 20% of cannabis companies are profitable. So that is really not sustainable for any business. The larger ones have a bit more of access to capital, so they can survive a bit longer running with negative cash flow. But small family owned companies really can't survive if you're not generating cash flow to make payroll. And so, what we've worked on over the years is really developing a business that is sustainable, that can survive and thrive through the market changes. The market constantly is up and down, and and I think we've done that. We've been very successful here in Oregon, and now we're looking at other markets to expand.
So, what is your advice to cannabis companies in regards to um, just the sustainability of their business?
Yeah, I think it's several things. The first thing is you've got to have really focused diligence on your cash flow. You've got to be able to sell things for more than it costs you to make them. And it sounds basic, but it's really hard in cannabis to get there because of the high tax burden, the high cost of compliance, the lack of professionalism in the supply chain, the difficulty in packaging. There's so many headwinds. There's so many things that we have to compete against. So first of all, staying focused on cash flow. The second thing is picking your lane and sticking to it. It's really easy, and probably most businesses, but the cannabis industry specifically, to be distracted with the next shiny object. Like, oh,
Mhm.
there's something cool, and oh, I want to try this, and oh, I would love to do that. And I mean, I fall into that trap myself so many times because there's so many great things that I want to do, but we have to stay focused on what we know how to do and what we know how to do well. And for us at Alibi, that's cultivation. So we have built a top-notch cultivation facility. It was purpose-built for cannabis cultivation. So we're able to really drive our costs down because we're able to focus on plant health and the right genetics, what works in our system, and we've built a team that knows what they're doing. So we've focused on cultivation, and it's in this increasingly competitive market. It's important to have your cost of goods as low as you possibly can while still maintaining high quality. If you get your eye off the ball, it's really easy to slip. Cultivation, especially, it's agriculture, and so there's always going to be things that you have to pay attention to, whether it's bugs or mold or bad genetics or whatever. There's so many things that can influence your crop, but with our single-minded focus on producing the most of the best, we're able to survive.
So, what do you think is the biggest mistake that people make when they, in the very beginning, in going into cultivation? What is their biggest mistake? Is there a misconception about what is needed?
I think that's part of it. I think there's also the temptation to overbuild. Um, so every company's different with your investment and your funding and where you get your money from, but ours is all it's our money, and so we've been very diligent with spending appropriately. And if that means that us owners, we go in on the weekend and do some work, like, we do it. We're not afraid to go in and get our hands dirty and put together some PVC, put some caulking in where it needs to get, like the actual physical labor of cultivation. But if you are if you get too far over your head where your debt payments and your obligations are is what you're focused on, then you're not focused on growing the best that you can and growing cash flow. So I think the one big mistake is too much debt or too many, financial obligations. And, like I said, we've been able to avoid that by being all self-funded, which, we didn't realize at first, but that's what's helped us get through the ups and downs of the Oregon market.
Um, Entrepreneurs are always looking for investors, or that elusive grants, or that bank is going to do a small business loan. Um, do you feel that a lot of your success was because you are self-funded? That changes the commitment to the company more so than working with other people's money?
It's a double-edged sword, and um, I won't say that it's right for everybody, because everybody comes to their business with what they bring. So, but for us, it was absolutely pivotal. The fact that we own the land, so rent payments are different. If you don't own your building and you have to pay rent to your landlord, and if you have a bad month, a bad round, what are you going to do? Are you going to, you have, sometimes people have choices. Are you going to make payroll, or are you going to pay your rent? And for us, because we are able to own our own land, those decisions are a lot easier. The flip side of that is that if you don't have the money and you still need to be able to grow, you've got to get the money from somewhere. And so it's finding that balance of sustainability and obligations. So you've got an obligation to your business and your employees to continue to grow and to be profitable, but then you also have the obligations to your investors. So it's walking that fine line between what's right and what's wrong for your business. And everybody's just got to decide what's right for them. But for us, absolutely being self-funded has been key.
Well, you touched briefly on scaling and growth. Um, do you have any insight into at how to make that decision of growth or to stay where you are? Because scaling up and growth can be very high risk. Any insights into how you determine that?
Yeah. As part of my master's program, I specifically took a class and studied business longevity. And it is during those times of growth and those times of scale that you either make it or break it. And because it takes a lot of investment to get to the next level, it's interesting to think about what that looks like, because it would be really easy if scale and growth were a straight line. So, you're going steadily, you're able each month to just, you just get there. But I've found for us, it's not like that. It's very much more stair step. If you're like this, maybe slightly up, but then you have a big, the scale is a big jump. And for small companies, if you're not able to manage that jump, it can be devastating. So the advice I have is to pick your partners wisely. Like, we're in the middle of expanding to other states, and we've done a lot of due diligence. I've been working on this for a long time, and the most important thing is to find people that you can trust and find people that are honorable to work with, and not get over your skis. It's really tempting to have this optimistic outlook in terms of, oh, next month is going to be the best month ever, next month we're going to make so much money, oh, I see it coming. And not to not be optimistic, but you have to be realistic in terms of what's actually going to happen. So what I've found is we like to project under what I actually think is going to happen, because if you're spending less and investing less, then that cushion is there to get you in the times of downturns. And having that cushion and not being over the edge of your skis is really important.
I have so many questions and we have so little time that I truly hope that you will agree to do more cannabis clip notes, as what you're bringing to the table is very valuable information for all entrepreneurs. Um, so truly, I hope you will consider doing a couple of more of these.
Absolutely, Addison. It's great to chat with you as always.
Okay, thank you so much.